A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
The holidays are all about sharing with family. Meals, couches, stories, grandma's secret pecan pie recipe. And now you can also share a cart with Instacart's family carts. Everyone can add what they want to one group cart from wherever they are. So you don't have to go from room to room to find out who wants cranberry sauce, or whether you should get mini marshmallows for the yams, or collecting votes for sugar cookies versus shortbread. Just share a cart. And then share the meals and the moments. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
Ask me, ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them, we'll read them, then we'll give you answers. You know it, I've got it. I've got the answer, you ask me. I'll tell you anything. I want to take a second to talk about this next guest, sort of brag about this next guest for a second. You know, I don't get a chance to interview a lot of comics, mostly because they're a pain in the ass to book. Now, I don't really know this woman personally that well, but from the few times we've chatted, I've just found her to be so open and so warm. And the other week, I walked up to her at a show safely, and I was just like, why is nobody talking about your body of work and how many shows you've been on and how long you've been working in Hollywood? And she just was a ball of sunshine, just opened right up, and we just started talking. And as a woman in comedy, as a Black woman in comedy, as someone just working in Hollywood, I was like, well, I need to talk to this woman. And she was kind enough to say yes. So here she is, Sherri Shepherd. So you and I have crossed paths a couple times at a couple shows. And I always think of comics that I don't know, you know, it's always that thing where like, do I say hi to this person? Do I not? And you and I mean, she's my friend and you've worked with her. There's a comic named Kate the Wasp, who I think was on like a showcase you did, right?
Yes, and I love Kate so much.
She always spoke so fondly of you. And a lot of times when you have a really famous comic and then a newer comic, the newer comic is like, yeah, I was on their show. They don't really know me. And she had the nicest things to say about you for years. And I always logged it in my mind like Sherri Shepherd's a good one. And then you were so lovely to me at just random shows where I'd see you. And I'm like, okay, she's safe. I can talk to her. Because
oh, girl. Oh, it was just really nice to meet you because we had never formerly met.
Yeah.
And I know of you and I know people who know you. And so, you know, being in New York for the whole time, you know, I was in New York for 9 years and I didn't get to meet, I have the comics that I started with,
right.
But I did, you know, coming back in 2016, I don't know a lot of comics. And so you were one of them. And, you know, going to comedy clubs and kind of reintroducing myself is always kind of hard.
Yeah.
But I will say Kate made such an impression on me. I think I got her. Yeah, I got her on The View.
It was The View. It was, and I just remember that because there's always that thing where you're like, oh, I'm going to say hi to this comic and they're going to be a jerk to me or they're going to whatever. And you were friendly. And so I always like to say hi to you when I see you. And here we are both super humble doing a drive-in show in the parking lot of the Magic Castle during Corona. And you were on my mind because my husband has this, I'm not even going to call it low key, but obsession with the fact that Emeril Lagasse had a show. Because my husband's a chef and he's writing an article about it. And we were Googling it the other day and I saw, oh my God, Sherri Shepherd. I watched like half an episode. I was like, Sherri Shepherd was on this? And then I was like, Sherri Shepherd is also on 30 Rock, which I watch front to back maybe 3 times a year. And I came up to you at the show and I was like, can we talk about how you have been here for a minute and this needs to be discussed?
You were so sweet. I was like, what? Because you were like, girl, you are a legend. I was like, well, I ain't dead, damn. But
I mean, there's all this conversation, and as we progress in society, and as different voices of different colors and different backgrounds are getting more and more attention, I think no matter how we progress, whether it's women in comedy or BIPOC or whatever, there's always this. People kind of forget like the people who came literally 10 years before. There's always a focus on the new voice or somebody that, that's from, like 50 years ago. And it's like, but what about the women who were paving the way for other women not that long ago and continue to work? You weren't on like a sitcom. I actually made a list. You have, just so people realize, and I want to talk to you and then we'll get into the questions, everybody always asks about starting out. This isn't like, oh, you were on 30 Rock and you have been on The Emerald Show, Friends, 30 Rock, How I Met Your Mother, more recently Mr. Iglesias, Trial and Error, Suddenly Susan, Everybody Loves Raymond, The Jamie Foxx Show. You had your own fucking sitcom and you were on The View. Who has a resume like that?
Wow. When you say that, I'm like, who is that? Shoot. Girl,
I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing right to be working this consistently in a significant manner?
Man, Iliza, I feel so thankful. Like I co-host this pop culture show called Dish Nation.
Yes.
And sometimes I'll be in the middle of going, "Welcome to Dish Nation," and with the DeBrad and all of and Heidi and Frank from 97.5. They're all DJs and stuff. And sometimes I'll just go, I just need a minute because I'm crying.
Oh.
Because I'm so thankful to still be working. I'm so thankful that being relevant and being a woman of color who still people go, I can count on her to bring funny.
Right.
And and being with these young people on Dish Nation, and I'm so thankful. Oh my gosh, that I'm not one of those. Whatever happened to Sherri?
Right. That's your next sitcom. Whatever happened to Sherri?
Whatever happened to Sherri, girl? It is crazy. What do I do to consistently work? I think people know they can count on me. Mm-hmm. They know that when I come to a set, at this point in the game, Iliza, I'm going to tell you, people want to work with folks who are just nice people. It's so crazy. I just get so many comments. The last 2 gigs I had was Trial and Error with John Lithgow and Kristen Chenoweth. And when I went in and met with the executive producers, they said, we called around and asked how you were to work with, because we already know you're acting. We just want, and everybody said you were nice. We want to work with you. When I got offered Iglesias, Kevin Hinch, the showrunner, said, I called around and asked how you were. Gabe loves you. We would just want to work with nice people.
Yeah.
So I think it's been a big factor in with How I Met Your Mother. They were like, we just heard you were so nice.
Right.
People just want to work with kind people. It's like, you want to do this gig, go the fuck home.
Yes.
And live your life. You don't want to be over here bullshitting with people who are causing drama.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of it has to do with that, of being friendly and going, don't have an attitude.
You're so lucky, just in general, as a performer, to be able to work the people that make it about them. That's what people don't get. They think Hollywood is all like blow and sex. And it's like, yeah, maybe when you're like 20, if you're lucky. But other than that, people have families and you want to sit in traffic and go home to your house and just chill. And you want to get your job done and be efficient. Nobody wants to spend extra hours on set. You want to do your job.
You want to go, and it's just like that show that we did, the drive-in show.
Yep.
You want to go have a good time, because you're already tense because COVID is everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's freaking everywhere. And and that was literally only the second time I've been on stage since we had been quarantined. And I had kept saying no. And I said, but I know that Tammy Jo is going to have some really great people there because she's a great person.
Right.
And I said, okay, girl, I'm going to come. And when she said the names, I was like, I would love to be there because I just love girl power.
Aww.
And being amongst women, because I'm so tired of being the only woman on a lineup, even now.
Right.
So I said, I just need to connect with women. And I'm so thankful that I did, because I met you and you were so cool.
Aww.
That we were just talking, and you just want that. It's just like too much stuff going on with you, this drama and the jealousy and the pettiness, and I don't want that.
I don't want two things. One, I love when I said all the blow and sex. You were like, okay. Like, you didn't even yes and it. You were like, and
no.
That's your journey.
You're right, though. When you're in your 20s, and I have to say this because I have drug addicts all in my family.
Got it.
So I never wanted to go that way. But it was around me. Now, the sex, I wish. I'm 2 years accidentally celibate. But it's so funny because I remember being at a house party that was at Mitzi Shore's house.
Oh, my God.
And, she lived above the Comedy Store.
Right.
And it was a bunch of comics there. I didn't know what the hell they was doing. They kept going downstairs in the basement. I didn't know what. I was so naive.
Yeah.
Literally so naive. I was just happy to be out the house.
Right.
And I was in the bathroom with the waitresses from the Comedy Store. And one of them was, Kerrigan.
Eleanor. Yeah.
Eleanor Kerrigan. And I wasn't doing no drugs, nothing. We was in the bathroom showing each other our breasts.
Right.
Who had the biggest boobs. That's what kind of fun I was having at Missy Shore's house.
That's what girls do.
Yeah. That stuff was going on. A dear friend, Freddie Soto, died from, doing drugs. I never even knew. They, when you don't do it, they don't talk about it around you. But It was there. But in this age, girl, I'm too old to be doing drugs. I'll get Bell's palsy if I try to go right now. Shoot,
I even said it.
Do some damn blow.
Oh my God. I wish. I've never worked in TV. I've never been cast on anything. And so I don't have the same, I've only been doing stand up forever. And then more recently other stuff. But like my early 20s, it was all stand up. I have no sitcom experience. So I wish I was invited to those parties, but it was just me on the road with my dog.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. I know being thankful is on everyone's minds, and with thankfulness comes gratitude, a concept that, honestly, really bothers me. I'm tired of thanking everyone else. You know who deserves a thank you? Me. You deserve a thank you. When's the last time you thanked yourself? Sometimes it's hard to remind ourselves that we are doing the absolute best we can. So here I am reminding you to send some thanks to the people in your life, but mostly send some thanks to yourself. And a great way to do that is with therapy. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and it's suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time, no additional charge. You don't have to travel anywhere. They take the hassle out of finding that perfect therapist. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Iliza today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Iliza. Fall has fallen. Winter is on its way. The days are shorter. But just because, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Iliza50 and use code Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Iliza50 at factormeals.com/Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling, and nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way, you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
But you're absolutely right in terms of the, because you talk about being the only girl in a lineup. It doesn't bother me because, people book shows for different reasons. But I will say, when you don't realize how much you need that girl time until you see another one. And we go hard. Like, I saw another woman there and we just like talked about divorce. You and I talked about, it's like you see another woman, you're like, let's get into it, because boys are dumb. I don't know.
It's, I love hanging with the boys. I really do. And I'm not going to do anything that's going to offend me.
Yeah.
But it's just, what you just said, I love being around a woman where we could just talk about stuff, and you're a woman, I'm a woman, we just connect that way. But I also want to see more women on stage. For me, and having to fight that for so long,
yeah, and
still be on a lineup and it's just me, and it's it's all these other comics, and I'm like, I just want to feel some more estrogen on the stage, because we don't all talk about our period.
No, ma'am.
We got to talk about.
No, I think it's important to showcase good women in comedy, just like it is for diverse voices in men, and to show that we're capable of talking about many things. And it's that way. It's not such a shock when a girl does have a set that has nothing to do with something sexual, which is okay too, as long as it's fucking funny.
That's all I care about. Funny, that's what it is.
That's all I care about. So speaking of funny, Queen of Jordan, speaking of funny, Near a Lip 11 says, Angie on 30 Rock was always so bold and unique. In what ways did you put yourself into the role, if you did?
You know what? It's so funny. I love playing these bold, vivacious, take no prisoner attitude, because that's so not me. I came from being this shy girl. I was a Jehovah's Witness. I knocked on doors on Saturday and talked about getting into the new system and Jehovah loving you. My parents were very strict religiously. I was the shy one doing stand-up.
Right.
And so to play these kind of roles, it's almost like Beyonce has Sasha Fierce.
Yes, right.
That is these kind of roles, Angie Jordan or, Rhonda on Friends. This is my Sasha Fierce, because then I get to connect with that side of me. And I do it on stage. Right. That stage persona that I have. When I'm off stage, I kind of go back to me. I'm very low key. I'm very, I don't enter the room like I'm here.
No, nobody likes that person. It's an annoying person.
There's some people that do it. They got it. They need that validation.
Right.
And so I'm pretty low key. So I love playing those kind of roles. I gravitate towards them because I take on women in my family who have that persona. I'm not that way. People in my family, the women fight. They like to fight or curse you out and then go to church. I'm that just kind of like, I am such joy and I'm so happy to be alive. That's me.
You're a very smiley person too.
I am.
You're happy.
God gave me all these teeth for nothing.
Do you have more teeth than the average person?
I think I do. I think they're very white and they're very wide. I come from good stock. My teeth, like literally, I would love to insure my smile, because my smile is my gold. That's my money. Yeah. I tried to do the J-Lo thing, and I look stupid as hell.
What'd she do?
J-Lo, when she does red carpet, she kind of
she's very serious. Yeah,
it's that mixture of J-Lo and Khloe Kardashian, and I look stupid and I feel stupid. Mine is always teeth. I got these big lips for a reason, and
you do have very white teeth, and it's a coveted thing. Not everybody has that. I will tell you, on the red carpet, I've definitely thought like, okay, because sometimes when I see really famous people and they don't smile, I'm like, yeah, they're tired of doing it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pretend that too. But you get one photographer yelling smile and you're like, okay, I'm smiling. Like, it just shakes you. You're like, okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't serious.
People do that. They do that little sexy poo thing. And it's like, I don't know if you can really see personality.
Yeah.
And I like people when they smile, because I think you can just see joy. That's what I want to see.
I want to know that they're pumped to be there. I'm pumped. Totally. Can we talk about one question about Jehovah's Witness, and like I'm Jewish, and I think that I'm the entry point for that religion to a lot of people who listen to this podcast without them knowing that it's probably their lawyers and the people who do their taxes as well. But meme_kid says Sherri is a former Jehovah's Witness like myself, if I remember correctly. Curious on the thoughts about everyone else now not celebrating holidays, mostly with this year's reset button, aka the pandemic. We were used to it growing up and not celebrating holidays, and this season is very hard on some people regardless of faith recognized or not. I'm not positive what the question is, but I guess they're wondering, are you still practicing, and maybe talking about how do you feel with no one celebrating it? Does it bother you? Or are you used to it? Because I know Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate holidays, correct?
I'm not a Jehovah's Witness anymore.
Okay.
My parents got out the religion when I was about 17. But I'm intentional about celebrating Christmas because I just wanted to have some memories from my son when he was born. I wanted us to have memories together of decorating a tree. I didn't get into all of the symbolic stuff. It doesn't mean it,
right.
I have a Santa Claus in my driveway right now. And I just like it because I see the kids who come by and it brings them joy. So it brings me joy. And so I do celebrate Christmas. I buy gifts for kids. And I like that it brings people joy. That's just as simple as it is. Halloween, my son likes to get dressed up. However, I like that joy. Don't come to my door with a fucking axe in your head and you're 15 looking like a 30-year-old. I don't play that bullshit because I got a gun. Don't be doing that. Don't scare me like that. That's the kind of stuff I don't like. But Christmas, I decorated my driveway with a whole bunch of Christmas stuff. I got a reindeer. I got toy soldiers. I got little lights on the trees. I started in the 1st of November because I said I wanted people who were walking their dogs and their baby strollers to get a little extra joy because we were in quarantine.
I love that. And it's so rare that you can even connect, even if you're not home, that you're able to connect with people. And the fact that you were able to do something that could affect someone even if you weren't around, because we're also holed up in our houses. So I think that that's pure. And I would venture to say, just speculating, that is part of the joy of the Christmas season, is making other people feel nice. Yeah, I mean,
I don't get into the, Liza, I think people get so depressed because they you're trying to buy everything for everybody.
No.
And I let adults know, this ain't for you. I don't have nothing for you, but I'll get something for your little girl. At 15 or 16, you're not going to get no more from me. You're getting too old.
It's weird.
But for the kids, I'm like, I don't know. I just like seeing people happy. So I know it's a hard thing for people who are by themselves during the holidays. It's rough. So if I can give you just a little bit of joy, because I got a bunch of lights and reindeers and other stuff around, then come on by.
Come on by Sherri Shepherd's house. We'll give out the address at the end of the show.
Girl, I'm going to reach through this computer.
It's 223. So you were on The Masked Singer also, right?
Yeah.
That show is so wild, and it has to be a Japanese show because it is so...
Yes, it is.
Oh my God, I just guessed that because it feels Japanese. The question for you, somebody asked, Regal Beagle 78, was being on The Masked Singer as much fun as it looks? Is it really that secretive and no one really knows who's in the costumes? And then Anonymous says, I don't know why this is anonymous, what's the process for choosing your particular songs for The Masked Singer?
Okay. The Masked Singer, it was the same casting director from Dancing with the Stars. So she knows
which you were
me.
also on.
Which I was on, Dancing with the Stars. I love doing those kind of shows. They're just fun. They pay great money.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. They pay great money and they're fun.
Yeah.
Let's not get away from it. We are in this. I got to take care of my baby and pay child support and to husband. So
someone's got to pay for the Santa Claus and the lights and the reindeer on the front lawn.
Thank you. As Jenny McCarthy always says, mama got to feed the baby. And that is my mantra.
Feed the baby.
But Masked Singer, you do pick your own costume. So I was one of the first people to pick my costume. I wanted to do one of those big ball gowns with the butterfly wings in the head. And once they said that stuff gets a little heavy if you got to move, I was like, fuck that. Yeah. Penguin. And I liked the penguin because symbolically it meant to me not everything is black and white about me. So once you find your costume, it's great. Then you can kind of figure out what you want to do. And they give you like a head to put on. The heads are very light. But you know what I started doing with my head? I would spray like Listerine in it, because when you put on somebody's old head, you know what you get? Somebody's old breath. I'm not even going to tell you what head they had me put on to show me how it was, but I was like, good, woo!
Was it Lil Wayne? I feel like he has stinky mouth. Was it Lil Wayne?
No, Lil Wayne came after me.
People got to clean your grills. Okay, fine.
Was it Lil Wayne? Did he come before me? I don't know.
It
was, but girl, it was not good.
Oh no.
So you pick out your costume, the song selection. They try to help you with song selection that's more in the tone of your voice. Like I can't do how my voice is deep. So they had me doing take a seat right over there, sat in a chair, stay with me. I don't remember what the name of that song. Carmen, the girl, I forget her name, who was with Fifth Dynasty or.
Oh my God, none of these words are matching for me. Fifth Harmony? Fifth Harmony.
She was with Fifth Harmony. She's got the Spanish name. Camilo.
Oh, Camilo. Wait, who's in Fifth Harmony that has a Spanish name? Camilo Cabello? She wasn't.
Yeah, her.
Really?
Okay. Stay with me. The captain said, I'm going to wear just how into this mess. We got aggressive. Girl, I ain't going to never remember. It was very popular.
Okay.
But it was in that level. And you go in and they teach you not how to sing. You have a vocal coach every single day. As much as you want to be with this vocal coach, if you want to be with the vocal coach 24 hours, you can, which I was, because I'm not a singer. I karaoke.
Right.
And the vocal coach teaches you how to hold a note, not how to sing. It's like Dancing with the Stars does not teach you to dance. They teach you choreography.
Just how to not look horrible on national TV.
How to not look horrible.
Right.
So they even taught me how to go, that kind of stuff. Because I don't do that. But they teach you how to do it. You meet at locations. When you get there, they don't even want people to know you are Black. So I had to cover up with a face mask, a shield, sweatpants, covered gloves. They could not, and you know how hard that is for me to just kind of nod?
Right.
Because I like to talk. I like to hug. You cannot say anything. The only people who know it's you are your producers, the vocal coach, and the people who record your song.
Wow.
So what you hear in your ear is either this Camilo Cabello, I can listen to her, or I can sing to my own voice. And I'm saying, why the hell I want to sing with my own voice? Because that bitch can't sing. So play Camellia in my ear. So you're singing to that. I'm very nervous because I'm not, girl, when we do our stand-up, we stand in one place.
I don't, but in theory, one should. Yes. Not dance,
we might pace the stage, but when you're an entertainer like a Donny Osmond or Lil Wayne, you're using the entire stage.
A lot of arms, yeah.
So you got a lot of arms, and it's a lot. And what I realized why I am a comic, when you sing, mama, you need breath control for all that. So as soon as they had dancers and they had me moving, I almost fell off the stage.
Yeah.
So that was the one thing that tripped me up. It was so much fun. I loved it. But I was always very nervous because I'm not a singer. So it helped having a mask on. So I didn't see the judgment of people because the eyes were here, but all I could see were the feet. I couldn't even see the judges.
That's probably for the best. Like if you're not a trained dancer and singer, that's a lot. It's a whole different animal. And people think just because you're on TV, this should be easy. You're just like, no, these things require training.
It does. Comics don't usually make it past the second week. Really,
of life.
Girl, you so right. Look, comics are usually are probably the third to go.
Yeah.
We don't make it a long ways on Dancing with the Stars, on Masked Singer, unless you're a comic that can sing. But yeah, we after we entertain you for a little bit, we gone.
Comics are like, I got a gig at the store. I got to get out of here. Vote me off. So for another show that you've been on, your resume is so long. Zosfi says, what up, Pod Squad? I've been watching reruns of both the original and the new Match Game for a while, home for the holidays. Sherri, is it as much fun as it looks to be on the show? Iliza, have you ever been asked to do it? No, I haven't. Thank you. But they want to know if it's fun.
Tell them. I don't know if I'm booked this season, but I sure am going to let them know.
Let them know
that you want the show. Is it fun? It is a blast because you get to be on there with people like when I'm on there, Rosie O'Donnell is always on there.
Oh, fun.
So I love Rosie O'Donnell. You get to meet people and they're really very cool because they let you drink. I don't drink. I just get high off of everybody else's energy.
I
But they give you a drink, girl. I took one drink one time. I was so, Alec
No.
Bob goes, you're not getting anything fucking right. Jesus Louise. I was drunk. But you get to be stupid and play, and I love it, and you make good money.
Oh my gosh,
So
those shows pay. Those shows pay.
Those shows pay. When you see these people on these little Hollywood game night, $25,000 pyramid.
Yes.
Those are little. We call those ATM gigs.
Yes.
Because those are like little. You're selling Avon. They're side gigs. You know, and they pay really well, and they're fun to do.
I've done Hollywood game night a few times, and I'm like, I love games. I'm really smart. These games are very easy. You make a bunch of money, and to your point, they have alcohol. They always want you to drink it. One time I had some champagne, and I was like, I can't look this tired on camera. Like, it will show up in your face.
The alcohol is what gets me, because I had some on Hollywood game night, and
yes.
contestants like me because for some reason they think I'm really knowledgeable. Don't know where that came from, but they always tend to pick me at the end where it's like, I'm going to win you some money. It's me and another. And so I had drank some stuff, girl, and I wasn't thinking right. And the girl's name came up, Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh.
Now, how easy is she? Hunger Games didn't come to my mind. Silver Lining Playbook. I kept going, she's a white girl.
Yeah.
She's a white girl.
Oy.
That's all I said. And I could see my contestant, her hopes and dreams just die.
All that money. Yeah.
All that money. I made my charity, I think like $30,000 because there's a charity component. But she didn't get far. And I looked at her, I said, I'm so sorry. So I tried not to drink because it literally dulls everything.
It gets in there. I don't know how people do it. I even like sometimes. Then remember, for anyone here that's going on a show, they give you liquor because they want you to mess up. Like they want you to do something horrible that they can use for a commercial or act. Yeah. That's Real Housewives is just a bunch of women drinking and throwing shoes at each other. Yeah, that's it.
Because you get bigger when you drink. You get sillier. You get to cursing. I did Wheel of Fortune, and I kept going, fuck that. What the fuck? None of that's going to make it. It's going to be all bleed.
Right. That's our promo. I'll tell you, I'm a pretty coherent drunk, and I was out one time really hammered. And the next day I asked my husband, I was like, what was I talking about with that guy? And he was like, you talked about feminism for like 3 hours. And I was like, ooh, fun hang. Get drunk around me. Anyway, cool.
A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. You know, like I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, you know, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Iliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Iliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Iliza.
Great soul. 08 says, hi, love the pod. Question for you both, Sherri and Iliza. You're both hilarious and witty, but when doing sitcoms, movies, or TV shows, do you feel pressured to be funny and on all the time? Also, do you get intimidated working with other comedians, like Sherri working with Gabriel and Mr. Iglesias as a history teacher? I love that show so much.
Thank you, girl. Do I feel pressure to be funny? No, because the real good shows are written so beautifully. If I don't have to improv, that's when I feel pressure. When I have to get on something and improv and make the lines better. So when you're on the 30 Rock, people think that as Angie Jordan, I improv. I didn't improv none of that.
Right.
All of her lines were written. I just had to add my thing to it. Man with the Plan. I think maybe I added a couple, not Man with the Plan, How I Met Your Mother. I might have added a couple things, but it was written so beautifully. Friends, it was everything that they wrote. I just added my stuff on top. So when I do go, and I think I was intimidated. Those I'm not intimidated about because it's beautiful and I had my stuff. I was intimidated when I did the Marlon Wayans show. And this is the way Marlon works. You write it and he says to you, Liza, if you want to change anything before we do it, you're fine. Just change it if you want to.
Oh, I love that.
That to me, then I feel pressure of I got to make it funny. And Marlon would be saying his lines and I was sitting here going, that's not on the script.
Yeah, I don't know when to talk. Yeah.
I don't know when to talk and I don't know how to go with it. Then I feel pressure because I really like to act and do what you wrote. Intimidation with other comics, absolutely no, because I think we have a mutual respect for each other. So here's the thing about doing so much. I do walk on a set with a certain amount of confidence because I know what makes me unique and I know what I bring. I just do. So it's very hard to intimidate me because I've been doing this for so long.
But I think especially for you, like we're past that point. Like to me, the intimidation, I think of that word, I think like, oh, it's your first gig. Everyone's trying to assert themselves or something, or especially with comics, everyone's got like this attitude. But at a certain point, especially, and like I really haven't done any TV gigs, but when you're around A+ talent, people are nice because everybody's kind of secure. Like you don't need to big time, and then someone like Seinfeld walks in. It's like, well, he's the best one here. So no one else can like really posture. So I doubt intimidation is a thing, especially, again, you're working with nice people. You seem like you work best within the confines of the lines. You're like, give me good lines and I'll be funny. But you're like, I don't want to rewrite your script.
And it's like, also you try to find things that you can connect with. I'm doing a recurring on this show with Kira Sedgwick called Call Your Mother. And it was written by the woman who wrote The Adventures of Old Christine.
Uh-huh.
And Kira Sedgwick, I'm a fan of. So it was now she's not a comic, but it was a little intimidating. And I said, good grief, we're the same age. We both have children. She's married to Kevin Bacon, who I did a movie with. And Kevin is in New York. So we're probably both horny or not. So there's a multitude of things we can connect on. And we did. We hit it off so much so they asked me to come back and do 4 more episodes because I'm playing her best friend. And we started karaokeing and we were doing all of the oldies because everybody else on the show was really young. So we knew all of Captain and Tennille.
Right.
We knew all of Toto and Chicago.
You're 2 women. Why not? You're 2 women of the same age. Bond with that. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, we were both hot flashing. So
oh my God.
You try to find stuff that you can connect with people.
Tell me the sequel to Flashdance is Hot Flash.
The sequel to Flashdance is Hot Flash.
It's like them Flashdance from the 80s and it's just that story like 30 years later.
Yes,
oh
Jennifer Beals. Jennifer
Going
Beals will be crabby, hot flashing, and she needs some kind of lubricant.
There you go, hot flash. Oh man, I was like, please laugh at that.
Not today. And we are not doing it on no construction site. You know how many people down there and can catch us? And I'm wearing Hanes her way. I'm not wearing no damn leotard with no panties because that's how I got a yeast infection the last time. And it's all on UTI. So no, screw you. So and when you go get these damn kids.
Come get them. Sam _Sid_ cats at play. Hello, Iliza and Sherri and the whole gang. Did I read this one? Nope, that's different. I love you funny ladies so much. Sherri, you are cracking me up as Principal Madison on Mr. Iglesias. What's it like working on that show with so many funny people? But most importantly, because I fell in love with you as Ramona on Less Than Perfect. How much of that character that you play is from your personality? How much is an act? I see some similarities in the 2 characters who are so funny. And you can't help but love them.
Wow. Working on Iglesias is so great, girl, because I've known Gabe for 20 years. We used to do stand-up, and I didn't have a car. They had repossessed my car 3 times.
Oh, my God.
So I would do these gigs. I would do all of these Latin gigs. And all of these gigs, it was just like all, like Puerto Ricans or Mexicans. And that's how I met everybody. That's how I met Gabriel Iglesias and Freddie Soto and everybody. And I didn't have a car to get back home. So he gave me a ride a couple times.
Wow.
Johnny Sanchez.
Yeah.
So they give me rides from these gigs. I was taking the bus. Girl, I lived on 3rd and Western. And I would take the bus from a club called Igby's from Santa Monica.
Oh
that
my
was 3
God.
buses. And I lived downtown, and like I would be taking the bus because you get out of comedy club late. I'd be at the bus stop at freaking midnight trying to get home. So these comics would, they would take pity on me and give me a ride. And Gabriel was one of them. And so it just helps to be kind because he remembered that we both did something together and I was in his mind.
Right.
And that's when he offered me the role as the principal. So I love being with Gabe because we know each other really well. Less Than Perfect was an amazing. They're all based on my auntie. That's her. That she was a teacher. That's her personality on Less Than Perfect and Iglesias. Less Than Perfect was amazing. I got to work with Zach Levi, who was Shazam, and on Marvelous Maisel. That was his first gig out of high school.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
No.
And
I can't.
And then I met my assignment from God, who was Andy Dick. That is I believe that was one of the reasons why I did Less Than Perfect, because I got to meet Andy Dick and I love him so much. He calls me his little black angel. I've never prayed with somebody more. I've never laid in a bed and spooned somebody more.
Probably never prayed for somebody more than Andy Dick.
Andy Dick. That is the one girl I have literally, that one right there. He would call me from rehab. I know he's high or drunk when he goes, Sherri, my little black angel. Then I go, Andy, where you at? I will go pick him up. I've taken Andy to church with me. He's just such a part of my life. I've cried over him. But
you are a patient person. That's what I'm getting. You're patient, you're kind, and I believe you have a line that can't be crossed, but I believe you will suffer fools just because you have a love for people.
I do. I think I'm a lot less patient as I get older.
Sure.
But I still love people, and I'm a big believer in God, and I'm a big believer in people with their purpose. Andy Dick is just one of those people. I just believe I will be with him and he will be with me.
Wow.
To the day he's no longer here.
You're not anyone in Hollywood until Andy Dick has sexually harassed you coming out of a Norm's bathroom.
In your mouth or sexually harassed you.
He got in my car one time and was driving me to the bar. I'm like, I don't know you. And then he's like, can you buy me a drink? And I'm like, you were Daphne Aguilera and I'm 28, but you're in my car. Okay.
Can I tell you, girl, when we did Less Than Perfect, we had to watch Andy because he had fallen off the wagon. And we didn't want the network, ABC, to know because we didn't want to get canceled. Everybody, we were in our friggin' 2nd or 3rd season and we wanted to keep working. So we did an intervention with Andy. So many things. Eric Roberts freaking took him, Julia's brother, took him and threw him up against the wall. He was so frustrated. And so we had periods over the holiday where we each had to watch Andy. And so everybody went away for Thanksgiving. I had just done insemination, artificial insemination, where they take the turkey baster and put the sperm up you.
Yeah.
So I was on the couch with my legs up in the air, trying to get the sperm to meet with my egg because I was trying to get pregnant with my husband. And it was my turn to watch Andy. And he called me that night, Sherri. And I said, oh my God, I got to get to Andy. He used to live in West Hollywood. Now, let me tell you something. Andy is really smart. He's got 2 kids who are Mensa level intelligence. One day Andy likes boys. One day Andy wants to hump on some girl. I never know which is which. But I knew he was in trouble. I got up with my hand between my vagina, my legs, because I need to keep the sperm in so I can be pregnant. I drive over to his place. He had a duplex. The door was open, girl. I was so scared because Andy is like the Pied Piper of boys. You don't never know what boy gonna be at his place.
Oy.
So I go in and I said, what if there's somebody that came in as one of these True Hollywood stories and killed everybody? Yeah. I'm walking in, it's various things everywhere. There are boys lying everywhere, passed out in various states of undress. And I'm just and I go, Andy. And he was laying in bed butt naked from partying all night. And he wakes up. He had broken his collarbone the week before because he was high and he was jumping on the trampoline and somebody pulled the trampoline from under him, and he broke his collarbone. And so he was all bandaged up, and he woke up and he said, Sherri, my little black angel is here. And do you know, I said, Andy, I'm supposed to be trying to get pregnant. And I laid down next to him and spooned with Andy and just nuzzled in his neck. And I said, Andy, I love you so much, but I'm trying to get pregnant. Why are you doing this for me? And we just laid down.
That is an insane. I'm like, wait, this is the weirdest story. It's so Hollywood, and you're telling it with such love. You're like, and then the lamb laid down in the like as if it's normal.
I did, and I kept saying to Andy, baby, Andy, you're not dead because you haven't fulfilled your purpose. God's not done with you yet. And that's why you're not dead, baby. And he was just laying up in me, and he goes, can you pray? And I prayed with him. And it was just like, you're not done, Andy. You know, when God say you're done, you're going to die. But you're not done.
Right.
So therefore, you have hope.
That is very sweet. I would have lost my patience. I would not. There's so many points in that story where I'm like, nope, you lost me. I wouldn't have gone. And you're through all the way through. And you're like, and then we prayed. I'm like, I don't think I've ever gotten to that point with someone, but bless you, Sherri Shepherd, the Black Angel. Dax is a name. Holy balls. Sherri freaking Shepherd on Ask Iliza Anything. The dream. I have a question about scheduling your life in the entertainment industry. Did you enjoy having the work-life balance of The View, or did you prefer Jesus, Iliza, or did you prefer hosting a game show more? How much does putting in time for those longer performing commitments leave you for the other domestic parts of your day? I can never tell if it was a physical slog to host a TV show every day versus other gigs.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, because I used to host the Newlywed Game for 4 seasons.
Wow,
I
yeah.
was the host of the Newlywed Game. And I did it while I was doing The View. I'm going to tell you, girl, The View was one of the best experiences I ever had. And it was one of the most horrible experiences I ever had because Barbara Walters was such a perfectionist and she was so hard on me. And I always say this, I will forever be grateful to Rosie O'Donnell. This is why I believe in telling other women who are trying to do the same thing you're doing, what you are making, so that we can have some leverage. Because everybody tries to be secretive. Rosie helped me negotiate my salary on The View. And had Rosie not emailed me and said, if you need any help, let me know. If she hadn't told me what she made and what the other co-hosts made, they were offering me less. And I love Elizabeth Hasselbeck. That's my girl. She was in my wedding. But they were offering me less than Lizzie. And I had more credits than Lizzie. And if I didn't know that, I would have taken that amount until Rosie came in and was like, this is what you need to ask for. One of the examples I'll give, The View offered me $10,000 to move my household. And I said, I can't, it's so expensive in New York.
$10,000 for
$10,000
for takeout food? Like, what's $10,000 going to cover?
Get an apartment, just relocation fee.
No.
That's all they offered me. And Rosie said to me, you asked for $100,000 because that's what they gave me. 10 and 100. You know how far away that is?
90,000.
Yes. I went and asked for 100,000 and they said, no, we can't give you that. So I said, Rosie was helping me all the way. I said, Rosie, they said, no. They came at me like, bitch, who you think you are? Rosie O'Donnell? No. And Rosie said, okay, then you're fighting for custody of your son. Have them give you 10 first class tickets to fly back to LA so you can see your son.
Wow.
Have them give you an assistant. Have them give you other stuff that's going to equal 100,000. They did that. I got 8 or 10 first class tickets to fly back and forth. I got an assistant. They ended up giving me 85,000 to relocate.
Wow.
That's a big difference from 10. And when you're letting people know, even girl, look, I ain't got no bobby pins in my wig. I had to pull my wig up.
Oh, I have 4 hairs in my head, and that's why I'm wearing a baseball cap, because I was like, oh my God.
I feel like putting one on. But what I'm saying is, Rosie, even my salary, Rosie helped my salary go up double, almost triple my salary, because she was willing to be open and let me know what she was making. So when Cheryl Underwood did the talk, I let her know what I was making. When Lonnie Love did the the talk shows, I called her and told her, because you need to have leverage. Jenny McCarthy, when she came in to co-host The View, they swore her to secrecy. So I told her once I found out she had signed a contract, if you would have told me what you was making, I could have told you could have got more.
Wow.
Because you would have host that they were thinking about. They hadn't interviewed anybody else. So I would have told you have so much leverage, Jenny. You could have negotiated more. But they put this fear over women, like, if I tell, that I can't get it.
Right.
And it's like, no, we have to be, in order for people to have leverage and that person to get there, and then you get there and you help somebody else get there, we got to be open with each other. But with all that said, The View was amazing because it made me step out of my comfort zone. I was used to getting on stage and making people laugh. And Barbara Walters made me learn how to talk to people and be curious about people and ask questions. As I said, I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. I'm very shy. I don't like confrontation. I don't like talking back to adults, all of that stuff. And here I am. Every day it's confrontation at the Hot Topics table.
Yeah.
It's telling Barbara I'm not done talking, having to get past that woman. She was so hard on me. And then I got Whoopi Goldberg on my right, that's like my auntie in my head. Whoopi was really hard on me. So The View helped me find my voice. Even when I started The View, Iliza, I used to go, hey, everybody, I'm Sherri Shepherd. Take a little time to enjoy The View. I don't talk like that anymore.
Right.
Barbara Walters got that little thing out of me. She was like, why are you talking like that? I don't know. I thought I had to sound helpless. And she's like, well, you're not.
Right. Ooh.
Get a book and read it and learn about politics so you don't make the mistake saying you don't know if the earth is round or flat. She was on me.
Wow. Way to own it.
Cried. Every day for 3 years, I cried because Barbara was so hard on me. But failure only helps you grow. Failure helps you so that you know what mistakes not to make. And I failed all the time. And Bill Maher said I should be fired with the stupid stick. And Bill O'Reilly said I was pinhead of the week. And Howard Stern talked about me and I cried. Wendy Williams said I could be replaced with a potato sack. But you know what all those failures did? It made me learn about politics, which I did. I never voted until Barack Obama, because Jehovah's Witnesses don't vote. And I learned to vote. I can talk politics with the best of them. I love politics. And that came from failing so much, so that when Barbara Walters retired, she put her hand on my face and she said, I'm the most proudest of you because you learned, you did your homework, you asked the questions, you came in and you came to play. And she gets in the elevator for the very last time and I started crying. And so as the elevator's closed, she goes, what are you crying for, dear? That's how Barbara was with me. What are you crying for, dear?
Oh my God, that does sound like her. That's a great impression. For dear.
And that was, and so as far as scheduling, you asked the question, people schedule stuff around me. That's what I tried to tell Cristela Alonso when they offered her a role on The View. They schedule stuff around you and it gives you a credible platform to do the things that you really want to do, any causes that you have. So Tina Fey saw me on The View and she offered me this role as Angie Jordan and they would work around my schedule. And Lee Daniels saw me and he offered me Precious, that movie Precious with Monique and Gabby Sidibe.
We know the movie. That is a rough hang, but a great movie.
It was a great movie. So people would work around my schedule. The Newlywed Game, I would leave The View and go host the Newlywed Game. My show Sherri, I would leave that and host it. Dancing with the Stars, I just flew back and forth from LA to New York.
They make it work.
They make it work for you. You're on The View.
Well, I think you're on The View. You're on national TV on a major network. You know, I think a big part of the heart of that question is, because we get a lot of this on the podcast, demands on women and the demand that you do it all. And I think a part of what you're saying is when you are in demand, people make it work. It's not people just begging for your time. Sherri, you have an agent, a manager, and a network they're all fitting because everybody wants you to make money so they can take a percentage of it. So they are going to make sure that they wedge in as much as possible if you're willing to work. And what I love about what you're saying about speaking up and educating yourself on whatever the topics are, you know, we love to see women fail. And you're naming a lot of male yak boxes that are just coming at you and shitting on you. And I think part of it is the satisfaction of shitting on a Black woman. I think part of it is the satisfaction of just shitting on a woman. And I think part of it is how dare this person, deign to be in our arena. And all the while knowing not everybody knows everything about everything. And yes, you're on TV, but you weren't hired to be a political consultant. And this is a show where women are supposed to just wax poetic and not giving women the chance to make mistakes. And here you are saying, okay, I made a mistake and I'm grown and I'm different and I'm still here, versus shrinking away. And I think that's powerful.
It is. And it was like, I came on to be funny. I was supposed to be the comedic voice, which I got to be.
Sure.
But Barbara looked at me and she was like, no, you're going to learn something. You're going to ask some questions. I do want to say the thing about people making it work, Iliza, is also you still have to be intentional about what is your priority. Because I don't think, that saying that we can have it all, I believe something is going to suffer. And so you have to know what is your priority. Someone once said to me, you'll have a lot of spinning plates, but don't make your kids one of them. So there are things you do have to say no to. I have to say no to many things because Jeffrey is my priority. And some things people won't make work. They've offered me things and I was on this show called Soul Man with Cedric the Entertainer and Niecy Nash. And for the first season, I flew out on a Friday, did the table read, shot the show, and flew right back. So I wasn't there for any of the rehearsals. And the second season, they asked me back to be a series regular. And I said, Cedric, I got Jeffrey. He's got his developmental delays. He's in New York. It's taken a toll. And can I keep the same schedule? And he said, no, you got to be here every day. It's not fair to the other cast members. That was a series regular role, girl. Yeah. That was money. I needed that. I was in the middle of a very nasty divorce. And I had to say, well, then I can't do it.
Right.
I've had to say no to things that don't work because my biggest reason why I do what I do is this kid right over here.
Right.
And I don't want him to have the memory of my mother was never there. As a woman with children, I don't get to go out and do stand up like, Dane Cook. It'd be a
like me.
But when you have yours, then you'll know.
Right.
It's like I'm a single mom and I got a son, so I can go out maybe once or twice a month. That's it. I can't be on the road, and I had to turn down a lot of gigs, especially being on The View. And it was a lot of money that was flowing through my hands because I'll never see my son. And I don't want him to be looking at me going, you were never there when I needed you. So I always had to know it'll come back around because my first assignment in life is being a mother. So I think you also know what's your priorities.
I think that's so true. I think women feel this guilt, but I bet, of course you'd want that money, but when you love someone, like you love your son more than anything, you're like, it's easy. Of course it's him. And it's not like when I think people compare it to, like, let's say you don't have kids, just being pulled in a lot of directions and not wanting to disappoint anyone. I guarantee Cedric the Entertainer respected your reason and he still loves you,
Absolutely.
So, and I bet you never think about it in a heartbeat, make the same decision, And so I think you're totally right about the priorities.
My show Trial and Error, the first season was with John Lithgow. Like I got to work with John Lithgow. The second season was with Kristen Chenoweth. And this show was like so beautifully written. And I think had we done a third season, I literally think my character would have been nominated for an Emmy. It was so brilliantly written.
Yeah.
But I chose to leave it because I was shooting in Canada and I called the executive producers and I said, the artistic way you're getting me is so fulfilling to me, but I never see my son and I can't keep working in Canada. And they said to me, you'll never have another role this brilliant. And I cried and I said, probably not.
That's all you can say. But it's your son. Yeah.
My son will never have another mother at and what he's going through. I was flying home, doing a birthday party and flying right back to Canada. And I left. And you have to know the things that you give up for the ones that you love, it comes back around. Not even 3 weeks later, I got the letter from the Iglesias people going, love to have you. It was right around the corner from me. I could take my son to school, go do Iglesias, and get back home at a decent hour.
It was the right gig for you.
It was the right gig. I wasn't working 17, 18 hours.
It shouldn't, you've got to work super hard in this career, but at a certain point, it should get easier. And by easier, when we go out to directors for projects or actors for stuff and they're not available, you weren't available for that, but you're available for something else, meaning like you're in demand. So if it's not that, it'll be something else. And it should be easier. The only benefit to getting older and becoming more successful is that it should get a little easier. You're not auditioning for these gigs. They're calling you.
It's I think you've got, like, people know your reputation. Like I didn't know what Rick and Morty was. I ain't gonna lie to you. They called me, and it was one of those things where I had left trial and error, and I was like, oh God, how am I going to make this work? And then they called and they were like, they want to use you for the role of secretary on Rick and Morty. I was like, Rick and who? and I went and did like 3 of those episodes. So it's like, you have to trust and know whatever that uniqueness is that you got, it's going to make a way for you.
You hear that, this point, folks? You hear that? Good.
Yeah, I mean, it will. You just got to, that's the faith part of this business, where you can't be just going with the wind of trying to be what you think everybody wants you to be.
No.
You got to center yourself. So at this point in the game, I think people know me and they know what they're getting when they hire me. And yeah.
What do you do to center yourself? I get asked this question a lot, and I don't know that I have the best answer, and everybody's is different. How are you a centered person? What do you do? What do you do to relax, recoup? Like, what makes Sherri Shepherd a centered person?
I think you got to have your girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big believer in you got to have your girls. I don't, when women say to me, ooh, I don't, girls are treacherous and they betray you and they do, that makes me real leery.
No,
because
that's
women,
no.
You got to have your sister friends, because when you go through stuff, you need that one sister friend that's going to check you. You need that one that you can cry on her shoulder. You need that one that goes, I will get in the car with you right now. Let's go over to his house and wait for him to come out. Wait for the bitch to come out. We're going to kick his ass. You need those women who can commiserate with you, who can push you and go, I know you wanted that audition, but it will work out.
Yes.
Do you promise it will work out? I got an email from Joan Rivers 2 weeks before she died. And when I was released from The View, she wrote me an email and she said, Sherri, you're going to be fine. And I said, Joan, do you promise? And she said, listen to me. Funny girls will always work.
Oh my God, I got goosebumps.
She said, that's what she said. Funny girls
will always work. I think about that as the older I get, and of course, I was never going to be like a centerfold or a sex symbol, but looks fade, funny is forever, and it only gets better.
Do you really want to be like a sex pot?
Yes.
That's so funny in life, because somebody asked me that and I was like, I just would like to see what it's like.
Just for a little, just to be super hot, just for like a minute. Funny only gets better.
When you're going to have to work all your life for your stuff. I said, I just want to know what it feels like that somebody just gives you a Ferrari just because your eyes look beautiful.
But you know what? That girl got a Ferrari because some sheik took a dump on her on a private plane to Dubai. So there's whatever.
That's what I console myself with.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm so, Joy Behar, started doing stand-up at 43, I think. It's like our funny will always be bringing us some money.
And people listen to you more the older you get. The fact that people listen to me in my early 20s is incredible, but I don't want to hear about politics from a 22-year-old with a microphone. I do want to hear about it from someone who's lived a little. So one of the only benefits of getting older is that there's some substance to your point of view, because it's a life lived.
It is. There's so much substance to it. It's just like, I think the only thing that the con for me, you're married already. It's harder for me in the men department because I am so opinionated and I'm not 20. So you're not going to come up in here and tell me about a bunch of stuff. Because if you talk about Rome, I've been there.
I've been to Rome. Sherri Shepherd has been to Rome. Don't fuck with me.
Greece. I've been to, and I can add to this conversation, but what I'm not going to be is one of them girls going, oh my God, that's so beautiful.
You're not going to be a toddler?
Because sometimes that's what they like, girl.
No,
I saw Khloe Kardashian. I used to watch her show with was it Lamar Odom? Who was she with?
Yes, that is exactly who she was with.
And she would baby talk to him and he responded. She was like, all right, yeah. And I was like, well, if that's what you're supposed to be doing, well, damn it. Do you baby talk to your husband?
It's not baby talk. It's a lot of weird voices, but it's less about being sexual and more about like me violently grabbing my dog and being like, she's just baby. she's just baby girl. Like my neck vein pops out, my eye bulges out. It's not hot. It's just something that I need to do. So I don't think anyone's turned on. I never go up to him and I'm like, oh, just baby Warner's. Oh God, I can't even do it.
You can't even do it.
It's so upsetting. It undermines every book I've ever read. Like I also think, can I say this? And this is not for or against a Kardashian, whatever. The taller, this is a theory I have. The taller you are as a woman, the deeper your voice. So that's why Khloe Kardashian probably sounds like this. And I think she goes higher to make it because she feels society doesn't allow for women to be bigger or tall. But you've never met a tall woman with a tiny voice. Their vocal cords, it doesn't stretch that way. That's my theory.
I remember I read somewhere when I was taking the bus, sitting at the bus stop one night. It was in Harper's Bazaar or something. And it was like, if you make yourself sound helpless with a high voice.
Oh, yes.
I used to practice that. I would practice that getting on stage and bomb all the time with this high voice because it wasn't me. And I'd be like, hey, everybody. How's everybody doing that? In a black club, girl.
No.
I got heck so daggone much. And it was only when I learned Cheryl Underwood was like, you better cut that bullshit out right there.
Well, she doesn't do high voice.
She don't do high voices at all. And so I literally had to stand in front of the mirror and go, deepen my voice so I could get on stage and get the respect of the other comics.
Can we, there's two things. I've talked about this on stage, just the whole helplessness and how attractive that is to men, to some men. But I did a gig. You want to talk about black clubs? Because I would open for black comics when I first started. I won the MySpace So You Think You're Funny contest. And my prize was that I got to open for a little comic. He's not named Bruce. He will not remember. He doesn't know, but that was my prize. And I opened for Mark Curry and I would go and the Comedy Union, right?
Yes.
Of course. I did one show there and my shtick was I would come on stage and I would go, how are you guys doing? And then I'd be like, are you guys having fun? And they would look at me and I'd be like, I'm just kidding. That's not my voice. And they would laugh. And I remember doing it in this black club and I was like, someone's going to hit me. It's just a joke. And when I got to break and be like, I'm just fucking with you guys, the relief over the crowd, okay, we don't have to murder this girl. Okay.
Hey, I remember when Paris Hilton would come on The View in Hot Topics, in our Hot Topics room where we pick hot topics. She was co-hosting with us. She was a guest co-host. Her voice is as deep as you and me.
Yes, because she's tall and she has a naturally, it's like this. Yep.
Girl, it was so deep. And then she got to that table and there was this kind of thing in that. And I looked at her and I said, what the hell just happened?
What happened to you?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Janet Jackson, same thing. She's got that, they all got that breathy. The Jacksons, they got that breathy thing.
There's also something to the tiny voice. There is a power. I will say this. Kim Kardashian has this because I watched her David Letterman and I was like, I really like her. There is a power to tiny voice and saying less. You and I are comics, so we're going to want to equip it. We're going to want to explain and elaborate. There is a power to being like, that's hot. And you don't explain yourself. And it's like, oh, I guess that is hot. So I wish I could just drop in a dewdrop of fire and just be done.
That's it.
Fire.
Hey, everybody. And then nothing. It's too much that wants to spew out of my mouth to go to where I'm gonna pick up my phone. For me to just do one word, Iliza, and that's it.
I can't do one word. Actually, so we have a segment. Do you know about this? The Top of the Cobb, the segment that we do at the end.
Oh,
okay.
We got to talk about I want to come back on so we can talk about some stuff.
Well, let's talk about. You know what? We don't have to do it yet. I can answer some more questions. Here's what we'll do.
No, we're talking about
talk. Let's do it.
Just interesting stuff. We and we did and that one I don't mind talking about because you were so comfortable talking where we talked about men in the comedy world.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
And doing that. It was funny because when I met you, it was very easy to talk to you.
Thank you.
It really was.
Thank you. I'm out.
I appreciate that because you and I we're very different. We come from different stand-up backgrounds, different backgrounds. And I was just I'm a big believer in just talking to people. and talking to people in like a comfortable way. And I always believe in complimenting where it is. And I think I walked up to you and I was like, why is nobody talking about how long you've been working in comedy? Like I may have been a little aggressive when I came up to you because it's always this focus on like newness and who's hot and who's new. And it's like, it's people don't take a second and say, well, what about, look at this body of work. Look at all of these shows working consistently that you've been a part of. And I grew up watching Black sitcoms like a lot of Jewish girls. And, you and I started talking about this sort of legacy of, we tend to only talk about one or two Black women, maybe it was a 70s sitcom or whatever. And there is a legacy of funny Black women consistently working on network television that for some reason isn't a part of the greater conversation. Does that make sense?
I don't think they're due. I don't. And you were very encouraging because I said I was mulling around the idea in my mind of doing a documentary about Black female comics that have, really paved the way for us, like a Marsha Warfield, who is getting back into stand-up. She's out and she's living proud and, but she definitely paved a way for us. And a Shirley Hemphill, who was on What's Happening.
Yeah. She's on the Comedy Store wall.
She's on the Comedy Store wall. Are you on the Comedy Store wall?
Yes. In the back.
Where's your name at?
Okay, Sherri, I appreciate that yours is like in the front. But
no, because I'm gonna look for it. I want to look for it. I'm gonna get excited.
You're not gonna see it. Okay. Here's the story of my name. First of all, they do this thing where it's like someone becomes a regular yesterday and then they put them right in the front. I have been there almost every night of my life for the better part of a decade. And when it was names night, I wasn't there, but they put my name, in the back where you can walk in to get to the original room. The closest name to the men's room. And it was so close. When you opened the door, it covered half my name. And I called up, I think it was Tommy at the time. I go, you got to be kidding me. I'm a working comic. I'm one of the only women here. You put me by the fucking men's room. They covered it, wedged it in. So it's like me. I feel like Natasha. There's like a chunk of headliners that were like wedged in. And it's so on brand for the store. Like if they kiss you, they gotta slap you. It never feels great. But that's our family. That's where mine is in the back.
I'm gonna go. Okay, well, when they open back up, I'm gonna go look for it.
Okay.
Where's your picture? My picture was when you walk up the stairs to pay.
Yes.
With the OR room. It was right on the floor.
So was mine.
Was yours? Yeah, mine was right on the floor, and it looked like somebody had spilled like a red wine on half of my face. I look like I got a big ass red birthmark.
Why is it like the picture got something happened to it, or
like it got wet or something like that?
Oh God!
So it's like kind of disgusting, gross, and it's not even there anymore. I can't find my picture anywhere, and I'm like, "Where's my picture?"
Oh, that's gone. So the store.
They still have my name above the main room, which I'm really happy because I get to see my name. Hurt my feelings, though, because I know they had the whole documentary about the Comedy Store, and I felt the same way. Like, I auditioned so many times for Mitzi to be a regular there, and I was there every single night, and I played that game and was, there was one guy who used to park cars, and he wears shorts. And his friggin' penis would be so like, he wouldn't wear underwear.
He's definitely white because the shorts.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And the penis.
Yeah, he had on shorts and penis. He hung out with Joe Rogan a lot. I don't remember his name though. And you had to see all of this and I go, I wasn't even invited to be a part of the documentary for the Comedy Store, and it meant so much to me.
Oh, that's a shame. And I say that. I'm in that documentary. I know that Whitney Cummings is also in it. I don't know if there's like a ton of women in it. I know that it is very the store to just forget chunks of people. I always get like, sometimes when I drive by and I see like they're doing something like, like a charity event. I'm like, why wasn't I called? But that is so this Comedy Store is whether you have experienced this or not, I'm speculating this is what it's like. The Comedy Store is your abusive alcoholic father or boyfriend. You're like, I love you so much, but you keep hurting me, but I can't stay away from you.
Face all the time, and I cannot stay away from you.
Love you.
I remember she didn't even, and she tells the story. I remember Whitney Cummings was up there, and she was bombing, but she was talking about her boyfriend. And I remember telling her, keep talking about it, because it's like, it's your truth and it's going to be funny. And I didn't even realize. And she was like, that meant so much to me to have another female come up to me and say,
People
hey,
like to keep us separate. Just for women in general, you know, I got this DM the other day. So my 4th Netflix special is called Elder Millennial. And it's a term I made up. And it's a term for millennials who are a little bit older. And people use it in the way that people use humble brag. Like, yeah, we all know who came up with that. You can't credit someone if I'm like, what's that? I never say Budweiser frogs. Like, you make up a term, it goes into whatever. And this comic, I had to think about this and I was like, who cares? This comic from a state I've never played, from a club I've never played, sent me a screen grab of a girl who's a comic. And she was like, coming out to see me. Like, she's just a comic. You never heard of her. Coming out to see me for like a good, funny, laugh out loud, elder millennial time. And he was like, you know, I'm just letting you know that she did this. And I just wrote, she's fine. It's weird to me that you're trying to pit me against this poor girl who just used a term. She's not going to steal my career or my jokes. And I didn't say anything to him, but I wanted to be like, I think it's fucking weird that you're trying to get me to wreck her. They're always trying to pit us against each other.
I think men are much more territorial. I do. I think because I remember there was a comic that was doing a joke. I used to have a joke that I did when I first started. And I said I was dating a Nigerian guy. And on Valentine's Day, he didn't give me anything. And I said, why didn't you give me any roses? And he said, well, I was going to get you some roses, but before I could, the light turned green. And it was like one of my first jokes. And I remember I saw a girl at the Laugh Factory do like the joke the exact same way. And I went up to her and I said, you know, this is a joke that I've been doing. And she was like, oh, okay. And I mean, it just was kind of settled. You know, I've seen girls do jokes and they were like, well, I came up with it. Yeah, but I came up with it too. And she'd go, well, I'll do it. If we're together, we just got to figure out who's going to do it first. And then the other one won't do it. It always seems to be women. We are able to work it out.
I've never had that territory thing. I definitely have had it with guys. And I definitely know when I see a guy do a joke, I'm like, that's funny because I was doing that in the OR for a couple months. And it's odd to me that you have it. But you know what? That's also a big part of the reason I don't watch a ton of stand-up, because I don't want to accidentally leak into it and whatever. But look, I am not here for like kumbaya sisters. Even if she sucks, put her up. But I am here to, as a true feminist, always defend what's right, whether that is standing up for a girl who doesn't have the agency or platform. And also making sure that we're not steamrolling. I did a show once and this guy had been accused of rape. And I point blank walked up. I go, did you rape that girl? And he explained himself. He was like, I didn't. This person hates me. It's her and her boyfriend. And he was right. And I don't ever want to be the person that's just, you know, cutting off dicks left and right. I try to walk that line of like just trying to be fair. And when the more women that realize, like, they try to keep us separate, they try to pit us against each other, and they try to act like there isn't enough room. If there was another fucking brilliant girl in the lineup, I would be down. I'd be like, great, and we'll be buddies. And there's just so few of us that you don't really get those chances. And I think with younger comics, there's more because of women like you or me or people that have come before us. We've paved that way a little bit. Yeah. And so it's easy to demand it now, but it's like there just aren't that many women that do it at every level.
Well, I think that's why it's so important for women who are starting out in anything to find other women to connect with. Mm-hmm. I remember watching, because it just got a lot of hits, when Joe Rogan did an episode with Joey Diaz. And he was talking about the fact that there was a girl at the Comedy Store that he used to, you know, like just do the most horrible things to, and the way he treated her and how she left town. I don't know if this was true or not, because I never saw this happen. But I do know that it broke my heart, because I said there was a girl, if this is true, who had dreams of being a stand-up. Who had to leave the business because of the way she was treated by a man. And it could have been much different for her. And I wish that maybe I had known that girl, because that kind of shit didn't happen to me. Because as I got, when I was younger, when I was younger, happened to me all the time. And I wish I could have guided her, someone like her, a little bit, where she could have had another woman to come to and say, this guy's doing this and he's saying I can only get stage time if I suck his dick and da-da-da. But when I heard that story, it broke my heart because it made me think of me as a young comic.
Absolutely.
Getting taken advantage of by men. And I just, I thought it was so disgusting that he was saying it with such, this bravado, this male kind of thing. And I just said, gosh. So I like it when the young ones come up to me, because I always tell them, don't be sleeping with these damn comics.
Don't sleep with the comics. It's not even so much about protecting as much as saying to another girl, like, hey, fuck what that guy thinks. You're fine. They're going to try to shake it out of you, to the women, by the way, and I do love Joey Diaz, and whether that story is true or not, who knows? But I will say this: show me one, and I've said this to Joe Rogan. Like, I've had talked to a lot of male comics, and they all agree. Show me the one woman who successfully fucked her way to the top in stand-up. It has never happened. So I think it's an urban legend, but also, and this has nothing to do with that girl, if you are of the mindset, if I sleep with this guy, I'll get ahead, you're a fucking idiot, because it doesn't work. It's not a business model. So don't put it out there. And if they request it, fucking put that guy in his place or come get one of us.
But I think that, I think, Iliza, that you have some girls who come here and they don't have that mindset. I think some girls come to this town and they're so, they don't know. And I said it because I was one of those girls. I wasn't one of those girls that was like, who could say, fuck you, and don't come at me like that. I had to learn that.
As did I. I'm saying this now.
Yeah, and I think that there's some girls that come here and they just don't know. And you got these guys coming in your face. And one thing, when you're a new comic in the business, everybody's circling around you like sharks. Right. And they want to get with you. And sometimes it can be a little heady. For me, I came from a very strict religious family. So when a guy said he liked me, I'm like, oh my God, you do? Oh, I used to have a guy introduce me on stage, and he was like, this is my next future wife, so don't heckle her. It was a protecting thing because I was always getting heckled. So I was drawn to him because he protected me.
Right.
Even when I was on stage. I got, there used to be a comic named Ricky Harris. He was out of Long Beach or Compton. And I remember he had a funeral. He used to do a lot of stuff with Dr. Dre and Ice Cube. And he had a funeral and people got into a fight at the funeral, and I periscoped it because it threw me.
Periscope?
Bunch of comments. You remember Periscope? Bunch of comments.
Periscope,
and I periscoped it, and somebody told the family that I sold the footage. It was just a big mess. But they had a charity event to raise money for this comic. And I went on stage and I was confronted by a few people who were very angry with me because they thought I sold footage to his funeral, and got confronted on stage. Like, a man walked on stage in my face. It was very scary. And another comic jumped on stage and protected me and made him get off and cursed out the guy and, was like, you are going to give her respect. You are going to, I demand it. And there's something about, oh my gosh, thank you. So I think that some girls come and they got the bright eyes and the bright lights of the city, and they don't know how to say no. That's what it is.
They don't know. Look, I'm saying this now as a successful comic and having this agency, and I also have always been fairly confident, but I will say, also sometimes when those things happen, you're just like, what just happened? I have definitely borne the brunt of just really mean men, and in some cases women, where it's always from a place of insecurity. They feel threatened. And the hitting, I became a headliner so quickly, for better or for worse. So that was, the power struggle wasn't as there, but there is this expectation that you somehow owe them something, or that you'll do something. And, I didn't have any women to look up to. I didn't know, nobody was not so much not friendly. Eleanor Kerrigan was always nice. Jody Miller was always nice. But when you're on the road, like you're by yourself. So you're piecing it together. And so we're living in a different time now where the pendulum has kind of swung the other way and we are draining the swamp a bit in terms of this predatory behavior in stand-up. But you can go up to a girl who's more successful than you and be like, hey, can I get your advice? I'm probably not going to go to the mat for some like hearsay thing, but you should know outside of your comedy circle, that guy has no power. So go book your own show. Go write your own shit.
Absolutely.
Don't give him enough power. Guarantee that guy won't be working in 5 years. All the guys that harassed women deeply at the store when I started and probably when you'd been there for a while, they don't work anymore. Nobody knows who they are or they're dead. Either way, I don't care.
Girl, I'm going to tell you, that's why I tell women you have to, find women that can be mentors.
Yeah.
That you
even just so you know you're not crazy.
Mm-hmm. So you can go, is this what they normally do? No, they don't normally do this. I remember, girl, one time I was at a comedy competition in Oakland, California, and there was a girl, female comic. She's since passed away. Her name was Yvette Wilson, and she used to be on Monique, the comic. Monique had her own show, The Parkers, and she used to be on that show, and Brandy's sitcom. And I remember being there, and a comic set me up because that's when Def Jam was out, and this comic did not like me. And so I didn't do well at the competition. So I was already depressed, really depressed. My girlfriend did well. She advanced. The comic who didn't like me came up to me and he said, the head booker for Def Jam is here and he loved you. And I was like, really? Oh my God, are you serious? And he said, yeah. And they're having a party tonight and he wants you to come. I'm so naive. I don't go to parties. And my family was very religiously strict, so I'm naive. And I go, oh, he's having a party? And he goes, yeah. And he said, go up and he's right there. And he said, go give him a kiss on the cheek and tell him you'll see him tonight. Now, Iliza, at this age, I'd be like, oh, I'm not giving him a kiss on the cheek.
Right.
Why I got to give him a kiss on the cheek? He wants me to come to a party. And what party is it?
Yeah.
That's how but back then in my early 20s, I was like, okay. I walked up to this guy who was affiliated with Def Jam. He was a big executive. He was talking to a girl. I grabbed his arm. I leaned up on my tippy toes because I'm all of 5'1", and I kissed him on the cheek. And I said, I'll see you tonight. High voice. And he goes, what? And I go, I'll see you tonight. And he goes, oh, all right. Okay. All right. And I go to my girlfriend who was with me. We pretty much had thumbed a ride up to this comedy competition in Oakland. That's how much we wanted to be in it. We got there, a bunch of comics, and this was before they had doggone pagers. So you had pay phones. So we only had enough money. We were staying with her sister the night, and we were going to try and get a ride home back with some comics back to LA from Oakland. So we used our last money, put it in the payphone, called the sister and said, we're going to a party. We were so excited because we're two nerds. We said, we're going to a party. She, by the way, is a publicist for ABC Family. We said, we're going to a party and one of the comics will get us back home. That's all the money we had. We had no more money. And we hadn't eaten or anything. We had enough to get on stage. And so as we were about to go ride with the comic who hated me, who I thought, oh, now he's trying to be friendly, and the guy from Def Jam, Yvette Wilson, who has since passed away, she said, where are you going? And I go, we're going to the party for Def Jam. Are you going? And she goes, what party? And I said, they're having a party. And she said, Sherri, the only party they are having is in their hotel room. And Iliza, I remember going to my girlfriend and I said, why would he do that? Like, why would he do that? I'm not causing anybody any trouble. I just do my stand up. And I thought about it. Mm-hmm. I thought about it and I said, had anything happened, and that's why I think God protects the babies and the fools, because I was such a fool. Had anything happened, I would have gone with these two men. Now, the one guy I already said, I'm going to see you tonight. So he would have been like, well, she came and kissed me, for God's sake.
Right. She was,
So she came on to me. We would have gotten to this hotel room. It'd have been us two nerds who were dumb as all get up, and two men. And anything, we didn't have any money. Anything could have happened. And I said to myself, this was a man who was very revered. He had a name. So, and the comic was really hot.
Yeah.
It was really hot at the time. Who's going to believe a girl who's not that funny, who's new to the business?
Who said, I'll see you
Who said,
tonight,
"I'll see
who
you
asked
tonight."
for it.
And
Right,
she didn't
right.
ask
Ugh.
for it. I'd have been sitting there going,
Yeah.
I didn't know. You didn't know that going,
Right,
I didn't. I just was naive.
right.
I just wanted to get on stage. The only joy I got was to get on stage because I had a sister who was on drugs and a mom who was going to the hospital all the time because she was diabetic and wasn't taking care of herself. And this was my only escape. And I was a nerd and I just was dumb to the ways of the world. And I thank God that he protected me from being in this situation. We had to freaking ask a comic if he could give us a ride home. I think I had to get a comic a damn kiss just to get to her sister's house. Even still, and so I do feel for women. Sometimes I didn't have that.
Yeah.
I got it now because it was a lot of that
Sure, now.
happening. So I'm very confident.
Now that no one's asking for a kiss.
Yeah, ain't nobody asking for a kiss. Now I'm doing a casting couch. You want to get on the show with me? So, but I do know this is a business. Hollywood is not kind, and you have to have people who are mentors or allies. You can't be out here by yourself trying to do this thing because it's too much pulling at you. You got to align yourself with some people.
I think that story that you just told, I think a lot of women will resonate with that, regardless of their industry. And I don't think there's, it sucks because there's always that thing where you look at women and you're like, you didn't know. But I always think about just, I get that. I feel that story. Like as you're talking about it, like I started to get like a little emotional because I think of all the little bumps and whether it's me getting sued for doing a show or getting a stalker or somebody saying horrible. And my dad the other day was just like, all because you want to make people laugh. Like that's all we're trying to do. And the amount you show up to Hollywood with this shiny pink soul and then someone says something and some guy takes out his bullshit on you or some woman hates where she is and like people just start to chip away and you're like, I'm not hurting anyone. Why is everyone so horrible? So you have to find your people.
Even if you hook up with people on your level, like, cause like you said, I'm not taking in everybody. I can't. I'm
Stray Cats. Sherri Shepherd's home for Stray Cats.
You can't just, we ain't gonna be going out and you call me every 5 hours and all of that. I will give you advice and help you, if I have time, but find your peers. You're stronger with somebody. Find that group. So because the women that I know who are comics, we go back like 20 years. We've known each other for so long. So, you find people that can go with you to the clubs that you can write with, so you don't feel by yourself. That's how I felt.
And you have the strength in numbers. And it's not everyone's getting raped. Yeah. It's not about that. It's about a sounding board. Yeah. Like, no, this is funny. We wrote this. Like, make your own group versus trying to get into a guy club because just make your own light. Make your own show, book your own shit, focus on, don't hang out, just do your shit and go. That's what I've always done. I have no friends, but that's okay.
I know when I moved to New York, I didn't do stand-up as much because it was another clique that I had to. Oof. It was hard in New York for me because you had to prove yourself. They knew me from The View. So I remember when I did The Cellar and all of these, nobody talked to me. Like I came in by myself, sat there. They still don't. Girl, it was such a table. Like, you don't know how to navigate. The whole New York scene was different. They all sat at a table. That was before she had the 3 locations. It was one cellar. And still the table, yeah. They all sat at the table and I was not welcome at all. And I just felt so alone. And when I got on stage, I saw them all looking at me. It was only when they saw I was killing that then they were much more open to me. They were much more, I think. Sure. And then Amy Schumer sent me a text. She got my email from somebody and she was like, you were really funny. And it's like, you got to crack this code. Gina Yashir emailed me. So it was just, but I remember going to these clubs, Stand Up New York, and I was going by myself. And I said, gosh, and I didn't know the men. So the men were like, let me get that number. We can write together. And I'm like, mm-mm. And I just said, I wish there was another woman. And then I met Michelle Butte. She's in New York. She's a lot of hair.
Yeah, I know she is. Sure.
And I met Michelle, and we, she would tell me all the clubs, and I would meet her, and we would go, and then we would go grab something to eat and kind of go over each other's material. She was at the club. They announced my name, and I walked, slipped, and fell, hit the back of my head,
Oy.
peed on myself a little, and
Oh my God.
it just
It's the worst thing I've ever. That's worse than your Oakland story.
this is horrible. Like I had a ponytail and it kind of came off. And I was like, oh my God, but I still got to get on stage and make them laugh. And when we went out afterwards, I was able to laugh with somebody because I wanted to cry. And I was
Yeah.
able to, and she was able to make me laugh. And it was just like, I got to bond with a
Yeah.
woman. That's what that did for me. And I wasn't even thinking nobody was going to rape me. It was just the fact that it was somebody of a like
No.
mind who wanted the same thing
Yes.
that I wanted. We just wanted to make people laugh, and we connected.
There's this weird, and I can't say I'm not victim to it. There's this weird invisible cloak where it's like, oh, that's your competition. But when you talk to other women, like, it's fine. I've never had a woman in comedy in stand-up, like, just be a bitch. Even if there's one that, like, maybe I don't respect her comedy that much or whatever, there's no personal, you always have a nice conversation. One of the only women in comedy who's ever reached out and we became very good friends, Angela Johnson, and she and I, we are not the same. We don't have the same background. We're both into very different things, but she's one of the other few women who tours as heavily as I do. And she reached out and I was like, oh, there's another, like this like, oh my God, you do the same thing I do. And I learned how to tour better because of her. And I wish I had opened myself up to that sooner.
I met Angela the very same way. I sent her an email because I saw she was in New York. And I said, gosh, could we have lunch together? And we had the best friggin' 2.5-hour lunch. And I was like, I so admire you because you tour so much. How do I do that? And after she explained, I was like, ooh, girl, that's too much damn work.
Oh my God. Angela was here owning multi-million-dollar houses before any of us were doing anything.
Okay.
So shout out to Angela Johnson. Okay.
Amazing.
She's amazing. Let's do top and the bottom of the Cobb.
It's the top of the Cobb. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the Cobb.
It's the top of the Cobb. We're doing it right every day. I forgot the words. The other thing, doing it.
Oh my God, did you hear that? It was so daggone soft.
I loved it. And if I could license that from you, if we could use that clip, if I could get your permission.
Use it, because that's so not me.
I'm going to be like, this is what years in Hollywood will do to a woman. Look at what she sounds like now.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Smee.
My top of the Cobb is, since Corona has started in quarantine, I have enjoyed that there is less laundry because I wear more. I already wore like the same t-shirt for days in a row, but there's less laundry because I'm wearing the same clothes for longer periods of time. And I like that, wasting less water.
My top of the Cobb is, throughout this quarantine, I have learned so much about myself in that I'm really good being alone. It has pushed me to be more creative, to write more, to write films, to write out my ideas. So I love that in the terms of self-growth that I've had to experience in this forced time of being alone.
I love that. I vibe with that. My bottom of the Cobb is, the hell did I write here? Doesn't know. Oh, we have a fox coyote issue in my backyard, and my dog can't go outside now. And I think she thinks it's because she's a bad girl or in trouble, and she doesn't know that it's because it's not safe for her. And I wish there were a way to communicate to her that she's sweet baby girl and she's done nothing wrong. I just don't want her to die. It breaks my heart. That's my bottom of the Cobb.
My bottom of the Cobb, I'm horny. I'm really horny. I am okay being alone, but I'm lonely. I'm so touch starved that the guy who came to fix the plumbing, I asked him for a hug. I just said, can you just tell me everything's going to be all right? The fact that he didn't speak any English, I think it was a cross between Serbian and I don't even know what the language from Poland is, but I think that's it. But he hugged me, and that smell of like dank, rank, mold, wetness it might as well have been Drakkar Noir. As far as I'm concerned, I'm so horny. I got something. Niecy Nash gave me something called the Womanizer. That sucker gave me 2 orgasms and I almost stroked out. It was so powerful because I had it on a 9 instead of a 3. And and I'm tired too. The thing is I'm tired, but I'm horny. So I fell asleep with the toy in my hand. My son decides this is the day he wants to walk in my damn room as I got the thing in my hand still vibrating. So it's like, I need a little something, something. I'm accidentally celibate 2 years going on strong. And, I'm learning a lot of self-growth, but I'm touch starved. I need you to touch me. Like I got these big, huge breasts and I'm touching them myself and it's not the right. It's not.
Sherri, this got so real so fast right at the end. Now I'm like kicking myself that this wasn't the tone we set up top because that is the clip we're going to use to market this episode to Disney Plus. I don't want you to be touch starved.
I'm touch starved. I can't hate that. Like normally if I would meet you, I'd go hug you. I like hugging people.
Right.
You can't even do that. I'm talking to you.
I feel
the mask on my face, but it's a respect thing and I don't want to get sick and I don't want you to be sick and we have to do that. Like I want to reach out through the thing. Hug you. I want to kiss you on your neck. Like I hug. Like I get a
you want
I hug you like I'm a lesbian. I want you to be in me and me inside. I want to feel like your energy and your essence. I don't have to do that.
I want to give that to you. I want to be there for you. I want to do that for you.
I'm going to seek you out. So you will give that to me.
The next time we see each other, if we're ever able to do a show again, it's going to be such a different vibe because now I know so much more about you. I've fallen so much more in love with you. And now we're not just we're friends. We're not just 2 comics in masks. I love that.
My phone with a heart after your name. So I love that. So when we go out, we can go break bread and hang out. I would love that.
Let's do that. And I don't know her personally, but I've been a fan ever since Reno 911. And I was a fan of Getting On, which is such a deep cut if you love very still comedies. Will you just tell Niecy Nash that I'm a big fan? I don't need anything else. I just want her to know that. Because I'm going to see her at an award show and she's just going to be like, is this Jennifer Lawrence? I'll be like, no, I'm a different white one.
Can I tell you, I met Niecy at the Improv. She was doing stand-up.
Wow.
Doing stand-up and her career took off as an actress before stand-up. But I met her doing stand-up. We were in the bathroom washing our hands. And then we started talking and I was like, you're really good. And she was like, you good too. And who you are. And that literally was 25 years ago.
Ugh. To be a fly on the wall. Sherri Shepherd, thank you so much for being open
and accessible and tiny voice.
I really like being with you too. And you're hot. And less is more. Okay.
You guys, she's funny. You can follow her at Sherri, Sherrie Shepherd, Sherri Shepherd, Shepherd, Pherd. I'll spell the whole thing. Sherrie Shepherd, or just Google it. That's on Instagram and Twitter. And her podcast is Two Funny Mamas with Kim Whitley. It's on YouTube and where all podcasts are cast from.
It's time to have your high five moment with High Five Casino, the top social casino where the action and real prizes never stop. Fun spins and big wins are right at your fingertips with over 1,000 games, including High Five Casino exclusives. High Five Casino is always free to play with free coins given out every 4 hours. Sign up today and get free welcome coins you can spin for a chance at cash prizes. Visit highfivecasino.com.
High Five Casino.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.